Well, well. A very good bank holiday Monday in the UK to you, my darlings and viewers. I hope everyone is well. I hope that everything is good for everyone playing 40k or thinking about 40k or talking about 40k or reading about 40k, as we know we are in the chat. Wonderful to have you. It is indeed a bank holiday Monday in the UK, so I thought a lot of people are free, in theory, in the UK. So why not get a live stream going and then hopefully do it at a time that's suitable for people in Australia and people in Canada and all the other good parts of the Commonwealth, which is generally the Commonwealth. And then there's other countries as well, like the ones in Europe and the ones in North America. I'm sure there's at least one other country in North America besides Canada. It'll come to me. Hello everyone, it's lovely to see you. Hello Zerota, hello Sorrow Scale. Mexico's the country I'm thinking of. That's it, Canada and Mexico. Those are the two countries, yep. Hello. Oh, we have plenty of people today. I evidently have picked a good time. Oklahoma in the US. Oh, that's a country. Oh, yeah, the United States. Totally slipped my mind. Definitely not the place that a third of my audience is from. Is this the first Q&A? I guess technically it is. I don't think I've done one of these before. I've done a general introduction ones. I've done actual gaming. I've done chatting about stuff. I've done here's some news that Games Workshop put out. Here it's terrible. The music, yeah, the music is in and out. I'll just make it quieter. It's the problem with the music is it's up and down. So it sounds like it's entirely quiet and then suddenly there's random beats and then it's entirely quiet again. I'll just make it quieter, then it's fine. Hello from hello from Malaysia. Oh yes, and then we have the UK people. Wonderful. Oh, this is many people watching right now. This is great. This is good. I'll have to do one on other people's countries' bank holidays whenever you have bank holidays. Holidays, generally holidays. Whenever you have holidays. I'm sure other countries get them. Not just in the UK. And not just for banks. So yeah, this is the actual first, I guess, technically Q&A that I've done. Ever? Maybe ever. Sneak in a watch before work ends. Wonderful. Good. I mean, you can just get it going and then travel home on the bus, train, something where you can watch or listen that isn't driving. Because I'm very distracting, apparently, so I wouldn't have it while you're driving. Ooh. Oh, I'll get to these questions. Definitely. So, I've got questions. We've got questions. 2 units of Battle Sisters viewing. Yes. Shame we can't just have one squad of 20. But never mind. We've got questions from YouTube community tab. We've got questions from Discord. And we've got questions coming in the live chat. So I have many questions to answer. And answers will be coming. I'll start with one from the live chat since it's there from Sindri. And Sindri has a little sticker next to them saying, I am one of your very nice channel joined members. I clicked the button that said join just below this live stream and I gave you some pennies, and then those pennies mean I get little stickers, I get the emotes so I can put the emotes in chat, and it also means that I'm noticeable among all of everyone else's chatting. So I'll get to Sindri's question first. What do I think is the worst looking model in all of Warhammer, either 40k or fantasy? You know, the old metal Nagash. So that would be technically one model before the current big plastic Nagash. That was kind of awful. A really ugly, huge chunk of metal with a terrible face. And its proportions were all wrong. It was just generally the worst. That's probably the worst one I can think of. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Good. Good. The more modern ones, they've looked a lot better. Some of them, aesthetically, I think are weird. I'll get onto that. Yes, Bilbo the Necro Clown. A wonderful name. some of the models, if you're building them, like the Battle Sisters, and I'm going to have a whole video on just how ugly the Battle Sisters are to build as a unit. But we'll get to that in the coming week, hopefully. Hello from Singapore. Hello. Whenever I come across people interested in Battle Sisters, I'd be the channel to recommend. You'd be the channel. Yes. Wonderful. That is great to know. Which grot is my favorite one? Oh, it's got to be the Grot of the Revolution. Oh, what's his name? I don't know if he has a specific name. Something. What was his name? So many different versions of him. They do a new version like every year. So there's been 3 Christmas grots. Grots of the Revolution. And the one that's on foot is the best. The one with a big sickle and also a Christmas tree. The Red Gobbo. That's the guy. Yes. Because they take the sickle, which was a goblin motif, which is also a communist motif. And we're like, what if we put them together and had the Grot Revolution, which first came up in Gorka Morka, which was a 90s game, which is where they introduced the plastic orcs that have been around until, like, just last year, were the most current orcs. And that orc truck, the first one, that wasn't as big, you could fit 1 mega knob on the back of it. That was the whole vehicle. Yes. Hello from Germany. Is it possible to have an entire Destroyer Cult Necron army in 10th edition? As far as I know, it is. You would have the Destroyer Lords, the Scorpeth 1 and the Locust 1 as your character leaders. You could have then 3 units of Scorpeth Destroyers. You could have 3 units of Locust Destroyers. You could then have Heavy Destroyers in support. So it is very possible. Whether it would work, I don't know. I'm meant to be playing their Necron army tomorrow. I think they're just going to go horde of Necrons. So I need a lot of bullets to be taking down that massive pile of Necrons. I don't know how many you can have in a squad. I think it's 20 in a squad, plus a Plasmancer and maybe some Murder Buckets. So maybe almost 25. I'm going to need some Plasma Cannons. That's what I'm thinking. I won't be playing Battle Sisters for that. I think I'll be playing Space Marines, because then I've got the Oath of Moment. Yeah. What changes to Sisters would I like to see in the next data slate? If we could have yet another increase in Meltagun strength, that would be great. In fact, that's the only thing I think that we have that isn't as good as, or is only as good as other people's. Our Flamers are better than everyone else's, and the Meltaguns, if we could just have strength 10, just for Battle Sisters, I think it's necessary. And also some other changes like the missionary confessor person, if he was able to join the Repentia, because then sustained hits from him on the Repentia. Now we've got a Repentia squad that's actually doing the work and would actually be on a similar level to Arcoflagellants. Maybe. What else have we got? Love Grey Knights. The Dread Knight. The Dread Knight is a very ugly looking vehicle, where it's very obviously a child baby carrier. I know that the Battle Sister ones that are smaller, the Paragon Warsuits, they also look kind of weird. Oh, many people subscribing. Hello. Welcome. And they look weird where they have the tiny little lady arms sticking out of this massive chest piece and the tiny lady head on top of it, but the rest of it is a massive mech thing. Third-party ones look way better and can also be used as penitent engines as well. What else we got? Well, any idea why Grey Knights are struggling even with their teleport shenanigans? I think it's because they don't have as good anti-tank focus as what the Space Marines have. They have a much limited roster. Battle Sisters are the same as Grey Knights. You put the two together. Well, you don't put the two together. Keep them apart. You have the two of them, and then they haven't got the same availability of different weapons that the Space Marines have. So they're lacking a lot of las cannons, is the main thing. Otherwise, they should just be... Otherwise, they're just Space Marines. Yeah, it's the problem of Battle Sisters and Grey Knights are so very much like Space Marines, but they're definitely not Space Marines. So you need to keep them different, have different unit options, but then they lack the anti-tank stuff. The Grey Knights being able to teleport around is fine, but then I don't think they have any shenanigans like the Gene Stealer Cult do to appear 3 inches away instead of 9 inches. Things that also like the demons have. They've been having fun with, oh, hello, there's a greater demon and it's 6 inches behind you. You're not gonna have a good time. Do you think the Grey Knights will get changed to Primaris? I don't think they will. I think they'll be one of the few ones that stay Firstborn. So if you want to be Firstborn only, it'll be play Grey Knights or play Battle Sisters, with the exception of the Tactical Marine Squad, which they're supposedly going to be redoing more in the newer scale, and perhaps, in theory, have Mark 9 armor, because Mark 8 armor was the current one, which was the errant style. Mark 7 is the traditional V-shaped grill face helmet one. Before that, you then have the beaky helmet, which is the ones you got from 1st edition, 2nd edition, and then have come recently in plastic in the Horus Heresy. There should be a Mark 9, because then Mark 10 is the Primaris stuff. Am I getting disconnected, or is it just... No, it looks okay. We're streaming okay. Good. Yeah, there should be... We need a Mark 9 to keep up with it, because Mark 10 is then the Tacticus armor. So there should be a Mark 9 thing coming out with just regular Tactical Marines and Devastator Marines in that. Otherwise, most things are going to Legends. Assault Marines, bikes, all of that. In September, I think it's like end of September, new Space Marine Codex. That's the plan. Yeah. Do I have a favorite Chaos Space Marine warband? I mean, I'd like the Black Legion because of how very easy they are to paint. That's a nice thing. Spray them black, little bit of silver or gold, and we're done. That's it. Anything I'd like to see besides Space Marines in the upcoming reveal? Well, there probably won't be anything other than, oh, we'll just actually release the Space Marine stuff. And that'll be about it. Yeah. Ooh. Are there any other unit combos for doing as much damage as the Acolytes and Primus? Not at the moment. Not with the change to how the bikes work. The Atlan Jackals. I knew they were going to change them, so I didn't do a video about the Atlan Jackals. I still will do a video on the Atlan Jackals. The Neophytes being able to get a lot of bullets out with the help of Ridge Runners and some stratagems and an Exos to make the stratagems better, and a Primus if you want. That's a lot of anti-infantry firepower, but if we're just talking demolition charges that go boom, not really. Otherwise we need to look at Brood Brothers to do that much amount of damage. Have I thought about doing kill team stuff? Not massively. The rules for kill team this edition, the 2nd edition stuff, a lot more dense to get into. And you have more limited choices in what unit you can take. 1st edition kill team, you could take pretty much anything. Battle Sisters, it was like regular Battle Sisters, Seraphim, Repentia, throw them all together. It's a nice fun mix. Now, not so much. So I haven't really got into this new edition of Kill Team. But it's a thought. It's a thought. We saw the Mark 8 Deathwatch Kill Team veterans. Yeah, so the Mark 8 is the errant stuff. So that has the neck piece that comes up from the chest and the very, like, medieval knight-looking helmet. We also had them for 6th edition. The guy carrying the plasma cannon has that helmet. Not Grey Knights. The Dark Angels really like that helmet. Yeah, then the Beaky helmet is the Corvus helmet. Known as Beakies, yes. Burb helmet, yeah. Oh, wow, yes, 39 people watching, wonderful. Yeah, Games Workshop is just taking all the money. Oh yeah, we'll release new Space Marines. That is also known as them just printing money. What edition did I start Warhammer? You know, I can't quite remember. I think it was just before 3rd edition? Maybe just before 3rd? I don't know what that edition was called. Maybe it was called 2nd edition. What is the favorite unit in 10th edition considering mechanics more than aesthetics? Ooh. I really like the Tau Pathfinders because I think the mechanics for them are actually them doing their job. And in the last video I did, which was yesterday, I did talk a bit about the Tau shooting friendship mechanic. The friendship mechanic, that's what we'll call it. The gun friendship mechanic. The Pathfinders actually do their job really well. Space Marine Scouts, although they're going to be thrown into Legends, but that only means you can't take them at tournaments. You can still take them in competitive games. So that's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah, they're great. They can outflank, they can scout, they can infiltrate, they can stab people with knives. They've got heavy bolters. You can do snipers and not get shots. So they're really fun, and I don't know what the new neophyte Primaris people that are basically scouts are going to actually be like. And I don't know what the Space Wolf version of them is going to look like in the end, because they have older people as scouts, because it's too difficult, far too important to be left to just the young bloods to do that kind of infiltration. And, you know, the Raven Guard will love it. What's my favourite Sororitas order for lore and colour scheme? That is definitely the Sacred Rose. White. The White Rose of Yorkshire. And also you can just spray them white and then add a little bit of highlights and you're done. It's very easy to paint. Very nice lore as well. Stuff like, oh, we need to march 8 miles. We have 2 minutes to do it. Yeah, I think we'll make it though, because the God Emperor wills it, and we can rely on that. They're about the only self-aware order that's like, we know that miracle happens around us. We just got to accept that that's how it is and go with it. Thanks for keeping up the good work. Oh, great. Have fun as best you can at work. And on your lunch break times, I hope you can catch up and see how things are going, either if the stream's still going or on the VOD. Have as much fun as you can at work. With legendizing the firstborn stuff, they'll reveal, yeah, equivalent things. So we'll get a multi-part Terminator kit. We'll get scouts. We'll get jump pack people, because we've sort of seen that in the trailers for the Space Marine 2 game. Yeah, Sacred Rose. When everyone else was going Bloody Rose and violence and, oh, let's get into combat, I was like, no, we're going to sit back and use bolt guns. Lots and lots of bolt guns. Do I even lift? I am currently holding a very large weight just below the screen. It's there all the time, and it means that if, you know, well, if I need to not move my arms, that's why I can't move my arms, because I'm just carrying so much weight right here. Hello, I'm new to 40k, and it seems a good time to pick sisters. Oh my, oh no. Name joining a unit. Say I had a Palatine join a sister squad. Does that remove superior? No, it's an extra person. So the superior always stays. The superior's there. The Palatine is an extra one, so you would then have a squad of 11, and it would be a complete squad of 11 for the entire game until, like, all 10 battle sisters are wiped out. Then you have a Palatine for one. Will I be watching the reveal live? Maybe not. I don't think so. I think I'm busy at the time, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so then hopefully that day I will have a video out about the new Space Marine reveals, the new plastic Terminators, whether they're any good. Yeah, but we'd see. Is it fine to paint sisters in any scheme and then use the Martyred Lady detachment? Absolutely. Considering our Martyred Lady detachment is the only one we have available right now, we haven't really got a choice. And then once we have more detachments, oh, say 2 years from now, when we actually get the Battle Sisters Codex, probably one of the last ones to come out, then we'll have a choice of maybe 6 detachments. I think the Tyranids were confirmed yesterday to be getting 6 detachments, similar to Space Marines. So it'll be that. We'll get the 6 major orders. And yeah, use whichever one fits the units you have in your army. If you're Sacred Rose but you have a lot of Repentia, perhaps Bloody Rose is the Ray. They do have a lot of people repenting. Yeah. So, however you want to do it. When the Space Marine 1 comes out, I might not do Imperial Fist style. I might stick to more Ultramarines. I have a lot of bikes and fast things, so I might go more a White Skies detachment. However you want. Have I considered doing Age of Sigmar? I play Age of Sigmar. I play Old World and will be again when it comes out. 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy rules were just awful. You could explode, you could kill your... I played Vampire Counts as well. Oh, could you not tell I played Vampire Counts? Yes, I play Vampire Counts. So... yeah, you could blow up your own general by accident in turn 1 and just hand the game to your opponent. Kind of awkward. And it was horde-based, and you could lose more models running up a hill than you would lose fighting the enemy, which was very confusing if you had cavalry. So it just hated every kind of army. And when I was doing, like, stealth stuff with Eshin, no, you can't because of how the cannons work. See, a character or a infiltrating unit or any kind of skirmishing unit suddenly had flanks. Cannons did not. So you could appear up behind a gun line of, like, dwarf cannons. Those cannons would then spin around, change to grape shot, fire grape shot and kill your gutter runners, spin around again 180 degrees, load cannonball and be ready to fire again. Not fair. So I do play Age of Sigmar, I do play Warhammer Fantasy, and I will be playing Old World, but I don't think I'll be doing videos on them because the way YouTube works, you kind of got to stick to one thing and keep doing that until you run out of people to subscribe to you for doing that, and then you expand it a bit at a time. So that's why I do Battle Sisters and Genestealer Cult, because they are otherwise pretty neglected across all of YouTube for people actually talking about them. 1 million people to talk about Space Marines. Everyone who does like, oh, I do a video on everything, will do a Battle Sister one, but it doesn't end up being particularly amazing because if they don't play Battle Sisters, they don't know what it feels like to play Battle Sisters. They don't know the struggle. And then you get things like, oh, here's a really great tournament list. Yeah, it went 2 losses, 3 victories, and one of those victories was on a technicality. And it's like, wow, that's the best list you could come up with? That's not a great tournament list. That's just the most recent one. You need a better one than that. So, yeah. Do I like any other space fantasy series other than Warhammer? There's a few generally. I mean, I'm okay with Star Wars. The games for Star Wars are a bit strange, the tabletop ones. I did get this question as well on like community tab things. And I wrote so many stuffs. Infinity I have considered. Infinity is just a very complicated tabletop game where it takes 3 hours to play 3 turns and every character gets like 6 turns. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I really like the terrain though. The terrain is really nice. And I have a new thing. So I've been recommending in my 10.5 video of things you want to do before getting into Warhammer. Buying terrain is one of them. I'll just drop a link into the chat, which you can click on if you so wish, which is to Firestorm Games, which is a UK-based company. They have different branches, and I'm going to go visit them in coming months to play a tournament there, even though I don't normally play Warhammer tournaments. They get a discount of so many things, and if you click the link that I put, then I get like a kickback from the amount of money you save. So there's a saving compared to buying things from Games Workshop, and you can buy Infinity Terrain, and the Infinity Terrain is really nice. Hard card, it comes apart if you need it to. The smaller buildings go inside the bigger buildings, which you then put the barricades inside, and the walls, and it's all really easy to store. Very much recommend their terrain, which I'll do again in a future video. 12 hours later in 2 days' time will be reveal stream time. Oh, goodness. I hope they're not doing it at like midnight UK time. It's 3:30 von Carmian time at the moment. So I don't think I'll be watching that live. Things. What about the Canonist in 10th edition? In 9th it was really fun and murder. But now, yeah, if you want murder combat, you kind of have to go for a Palatine. You can do the Canoness with the Sword of St. Eleanor. That's not bad. You're probably going to take a wound somewhere along the lines, and the once per game suddenly have a 2+ invulnerable save has saved my Canoness in the, like, 1 of 2 games that I used her. So yeah, you kind of need to do Palatine rather than Canoness, whereas in previous editions, if the Palatine even existed. She existed in 2nd edition, she existed in the Witch Hunters Codex for like 3rd, 4th edition, and then has disappeared. And I had to proxy in the Magifier for 8th edition, and now we've got them back. So Palatines are good again. They may release detachments in White Dwarf factions. Ooh, maybe. They have been doing that in 9th edition, which was quite nice. Then you could get your Destroyer Cult. You could get your, here's you get your buy World Eaters detachment to keep you going on that. So that was something they can do again. The problem then is they need to then keep a list of what's concurrent and what you can use. The Crusher Stampede was very popular at tournaments where you had all Tyranid monsters, but there's going to be a detachment like that anyway in the Tyranid book, which will be like the Behemoth equivalent. So we'll get it. Will there be a better way to play bikes, like a Space Marine detachment or a Dark Angel Raven Wing detachment? Whenever the Dark Angel Codex comes out, which I think is the start of next year or the end of this year, there probably will be a Raven Wing focused detachment. So the bikes will be good, the one land speeder that will be left will be good. Then, you know, it'll happen. It'll be fine. As for Space Marine 1, there may be something focused on bikes and jump troops, just to get like White Scars and Raven Guard in together. Because I can't see them doing a Raven Guard, which is the jump troops and also then the Neophyte Scouts. It's a kind of strange mix that they have, but it could work. But yeah. Diversifying content will happen. Yeah, sure. I will do some... There's some diversifying will go on. I do stuff for new people, and that'll continue as we go. I do Battle Sister focused things, I do Gene Stealer focused things, I do news focused things, I do things that are just pure memes, and I'm sure there'll be more of them. The 6 kind of players that you meet at your local club, that was definitely a memey one. Yeah, the general channels, yes, the generalist channels that cover Battle Sisters barely do anything, and if they do, it's so almost getting it wrong. And they'll say, oh, you know, Retributors are great, because they know that Retributors were great in 9th edition. They're really terrible. 26 points for a Toughness 3 model with, I don't know, a Heavy Bolter is not worth it. Heavy Bolters, 4 Heavy Bolters is nice, 4 Multi-Melters is nice, 4 Heavy Flamers is nice. Unfortunately, the box only gives you 2 or 3 of those, so you can't do a full squad like that, but the points are just not great. Hopefully, in this coming week, 2 weeks, when we get a points update, then it'll be better. Hello from the Philippines. Hello. Watching the content for a while, want to say hi. Hello, Leonardo. Very nice to have you. Have I played Blackstone Fortress, the tabletop version? I have. It is quite fun. It's something you can play by yourself, so if you didn't have any friends around you, because they all are nowhere near, then you can do it yourself. It's nice. Curse City as well is quite nice. You just really struggle to get a campaign going because it's people saying, oh, let's play the same game again and again, and the mechanics are pretty similar each time. Whereas if you do a game of 40k, every mission is sort of different. Every secondary mission has you know, the twist, the alternate thing. So it's like this, but it's different. Oh, we're moving servo skulls, however you cannot deep strike onto objectives. That's, as soon as you draw that twist, Gene Stealer cult players like me just go, oh dear, this is not good. Not going to be a good day. I have played a bit of Battletech. That is an okay game. I had a medium-sized walker. I think it was called a Wolverine. I dropped on someone's head. I broke my foot and fell on the ground. It was fun. And then I had some lighter ones run around the back of one of the heavy ones and shoot them in the back. I had the lore of Battletech explained to me while I was driving my friend to Nottingham to play in a tournament thing. I kind of got it. I know that there's some Catgirl ones that are a really minor faction, but people like them because Catgirls. Crazy to be liking Catgirls. Crazy. Next you'll be liking anime characters. Haha. Ha. Firestorm is really good. Yeah, Firestorm is generally quite nice. That's why I've decided to partner with them. And so you get discounts on 40k stuff and Infinity stuff and anything else you get from their website. It says for international deliveries you need to log in and then you get to see the prices if you're going to be delivering internationally. But with regards to affiliate links, I am working on getting something for other people, such as North America, Canada, United States, Mexico, Australia, with New Zealand as well. Because there is an unbroken seed line between England and New Zealand if you just travel straight in a straight line. It's weird that it works like that on the map because of how we're used to, you know, maps being two-dimensional and square, whereas it should be a globe, which is a circle, sphere thing. Not quite, it's spheroid. The world is spheroid rather than a perfect sphere. So yeah, there's a line, so you can get stuff delivered there. Blah blah blah. Eldar fake dice. Well, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can have it toned down anymore. What I'd really like to just see is the Battle Sisters get a different army special rule that isn't based on the miracle dice. We've had it for 2 editions now. I think it should be something else. I've given suggestions before. Someone put in the Discord, I didn't quite look and catch the name. It said, yeah, what if we used it as like bonuses? So you could get +1s. That'd be a nice thing to have melter guns that are anti-vehicle 4+. Then it doesn't matter the toughness of the vehicle or the monster, anti-monster 4+ as well. And then get it as, you know, we're always winning on a 4+. None of this, we go from 3+ in 9th edition to 5+ in 10th edition. It's too much. Just actually giving melter guns, anti-vehicle, anti-monster would be really nice. So yeah, they said, what if miracle dice were used to boost a roll rather than replace a roll? And I like that. Just having an amount of dice that's like, oh, this one's a +1 or a +2. Probably just going to be +1s. Or do it my version, which I suggested in a video about miracle dice, which was you could have it once per phase per unit. You can increase 1 die roll by 1. Little bit of faith. And then maybe do an advanced roll, which is actually a 7. So we are traveling faster than normal humans would be able to walk. So there's our Sacred Rose in effect. Yeah, and then like low rolls or miracle dice aren't just suddenly useless, which they very much are in this edition. Unless you're throwing Dialogi and Palatines around. Yeah. So that's an improvement. Why did I decide to go the VTuber route? Was it to stand out from other Warhammer channels? Yes, kind of. Kind of. And that leads into another question I got, which is why did I choose to be a vampire of all things? Well, yes, it does let me do a bit of different things compared to literally every other YouTuber channel that does stuff on 40k. Also, it means I don't need to worry about backlighting. I've seen a couple of channels that are getting very low views because you turn on the video and there's just like a face in shadow, and it's very clearly not meant to be a face in shadow because their back wall is perfectly illuminated by the window. So it means I don't need to worry about that, and it also means I can do lots of little jokes having, you know, 2D characters next to me like I did in the 6 people at the local club video. And it also means I can have beetroot falling from the sky when the Clamavus lets the beat drop. I think everyone got that joke, but no one cared to laugh. It's fine. It's fine. That's how some of it works. So I can do a lot of jokes like that, visual puns, and it sort of works. And I don't need to worry about how I look on any given day. Why did I choose a vampire, though? Well, it does mean that I can do fantasy stuff. Age of Sigmar if I wanted to. Vampire counts. They're doing really well in the meta. All of their different sub-factions. Very nice. And it also means that there's a referee from Blood Bowl who is a vampire, and I thought, what if I was that, but for 40k? Like the rules person, but I don't really care that much to go deeply into rules, but I can do introduction rules and stuff, and yeah, I think this would be improved if we did that, with Battle Sisters and whatnot. Edward Pitt just dropping in to say hi. Hello, nice to have you. Thank you, curse you, for getting back into 40k. You're very welcome / not welcome. Also, being a VTuber vampire means that it's very easily recognized. It's like, oh yeah, that's a Von Carmian video rather than generic thumbnail, maybe with human male face on the side. And also, when you're a VTuber, you have to do whatever your 14-year-old version thought would be cool. So vampire it is. It was either vampire or spy, and spy doesn't seem to, like, quite work. Yeah. Face reveal when? Face reveal never. It's not worth it. There's not a super benefit from doing it. Other people that do it, it's like, oh, now my immersion's broken. Oh, I know what you look like. Oh, it's not quite the same. So I thought about maybe doing it, but in the end I've decided, nah, it's not worth it. Yeah, there'll be a Dark Angels refresh, probably, almost certainly. Hosting an ongoing Battlefleet Gothic campaign. Oh, Battlefleet Gothic is a lot of fun. I do like the tabletop. A lot of people have gotten into the 3D printing of Battlefleet Gothic models. Then you can get all the different races and you're not lumped with these awful, very fiddly, big metal models for the battleships, balanced on the thinnest, tiniest little base. Yeah. Oh, the world is an oblate spheroid. Good to know. Yeah, there'll be a lot of new Necrons, Admech, Custodes, that sort of thing. Oh, that was you, the bonus guy. Lovely to have you there, Crooksy. Know much about using Dark Eldar? Have you faced them much? I have some Dark Eldar. I used them with the Eldar as a sort of Ynnari, or when it was in like 6th, 7th edition, the Ally system. That was kind of fun. I know that they hit quite hard. The problem I'm having at the moment is a lot of the units that I have, things like Cabalite Trueborn that had a lot of splintered, charred, the assault version of the splinter rifle, and a lot of special weapons, you can no longer have them. Because as with the Celestians, they've gotten rid of the special version, elite version, and it's just, oh yes, here's generic Battle Sisters, here's generic Cabalites. And I haven't got the best army for them. So I've done a bit about them when I did the How to Kill Eldar. I also covered How to Kill Dark Eldar. Bit of a mix because I know they can have very different playstyles, but it's fast or super fast, assuming you're going that route and not just Wraith Guard, Wraith Knight, Eldar army. What's my favorite Inquisitor for the Sisters? I think I mentioned this in my video on the Battle Sister Allies. So although the thumbnail has a Knight and a Vindicator Assassin, I do talk quite a bit about the Inquisition as well. I like having a Witch Hunter Inquisitor. So generic Inquisitor may be the best one, and then you can choose either to do Psychic Powers. The Psychic Powers are really nice because they're torrent, so they auto-hit. So it being in a Battle Sister unit that's got Heavy Flamer, you can do a lot of damage from Overwatch. Alternatively, you can go the Puritan no Psychic route, and then you get saves against all mortal wounds, which is very nice. You ate some green stuff by accident. Should you go to hospital? You know I'm not the best person to come to for medical advice. But I'm sure your insides will be very colourful as it goes through your digestive tract. Okay, because of Cursed City, I've been collecting Soulblight Gravelords, the new vampire counts. What's the recommendation for someone getting into the faction? I have a lot of characters and some battle lines. The skeletons I'm really disappointed with at the moment because they've become just an anvil unit. They don't really do a lot of killing. The zombies do more killing, which was weird. They recently got FAQ'd so you can no longer pile in 6 inches regardless of whether you get charged or not and do mortal wounds. So I would maybe say Grave Guard, just foot Grave Guard. They're really good. A lot of white blades killing stuff. Beyond that, go with what you think is cool. If you're going a lot more the actual Cursed City model route, get some direwolves. The new direwolf models look really nice. So that's what I'd suggest for that. Is Von Carmian an old world bloodline, or is it from Age of Sigmar? Oh, it's got to be old world. A cross between Larmian and Karstein. That's kind of where you got the name from. Also, it's Carmina, but you just swap the last 2 letters around. So if you ever need to know how to spell it, it's Carmina, like Carmina the Vampire, as in the vampire book that came out before Dracula did. Yeah, just swap the last 2 letters, and then you're spelling my name exactly how it is. I thought, it'd be very easy to do. There's so many different spellings of it going around, and so many different pronunciations. I've been on 2 or 3 other talk about VTuber things where people have mentioned me. They all seem to struggle to pronounce Von Carmian. But anyway, as long as people can vaguely spell it. I come up, I think, whatever you type in. I've also been told that if you type in 10th edition 40k on Google, and you've seen at least one of my videos before, then I get recommended on your Google results. Like in the first page, so that's cool. Hello, Prince of Valleys, just dropping in before work. Try not to think about how much the non-emissary is going to cost. Yeah, it's going to be quite big. You want a knight? You got a knight. It's a Tyrannid knight. And that's why we need our anti-vehicle, anti-monster 4+. Both of them. it's going to cost a lot. We'll see what, 3D prints are available. And maybe I can do collaborations, affiliate links with someone that does 3D prints. And then we can get some cheaper 3D prints of that sort of model. Very large alien creature. Not TM. Yeah. You're in a league and using Dark Eldar? Very good. No, I've played Dark Eldar once this edition against them. And it went really well for my Gene Stealer cult. They just are so squishy. So very squishy. That I could be using neophytes to do a lot of damage. Yeah. But good luck with your Dark Eldar. If the Mechanicum gets plastic automata from 30k, would you like to see them mirrored to 40k? Maybe. I mean, I see no reason why not. But AdMech in 30k are very different to AdMech in 40k. AdMech in 30k are very much elite, bombardment, big monster creature thing that fires 1,000 shots from its tail and guns. And then AdMech 40k, more Imperial Guard. And they've gone much more that route because they now have a 5+ save rather than a 4+ save. I would much like to see that brought back to a 4+ save with a 6+ invulnerable save. Some models from Curse Seat make great Inquisitor models. They really do. Yeah, you could just have, well, if you want like to mix and match a load of weird and strange models, you could make an Inquisitorial retinue just from those kind of things. Why is the background low resolution? It's just because it's free background. That's why. You can maybe increase the quality by using the settings and changing that, but no, it's just low resolution so that it doesn't distract as much. And yes, sure, it's from a PlayStation 1 game. Absolutely. Oh, right. More questions. If you could have a paint named after you, what would it be? Well, Von Carmian red seems the most fitting one, because I have on both of my models the red around the neck. That could work. Also, I could have yellow-green, for all of those yellow that's just so bad, so thin that it ends up being green. Let's just have one that's blatantly that color and go with that. We could have gold, but it's actually brass. And off-white. Brackets. Black. Close brackets. Because off-white is just no white, no colors at all. It's just black entirely. And then maybe round it out with some Magnus did nothing wrong blue. But Magnus did stuff wrong. He definitely did a lot of stuff wrong. But yeah. We'll do Von Carmian Carmine. Oh, that's what we'd have to call the red. Absolutely. Yeah. But, just some, like, meme colored paints. Magnus did nothing wrong blue. Everyone hates Erebus red. Something like that. Any other vehicles from the Heresy I'd like to see in plastic? Supposedly, I have the Dure Dero Dreadnought from 1st edition, 2nd edition, 1st edition, which was the one you got in Space Crusade. It's a nice little model. They're gonna do that one supposedly in more plastic and have a much upscaled. I just don't like the name because I keep thinking it's the Dure Dreadnought, and at that point we're getting way too anime. And I can just imagine it that with like anime blush lines. And I know someone in the Discord will be doing it right now. Like, I'll just edit that exact thing together and post it in the meme channel. The link to the Discord is in the description, by the way, if you do want to join. It's a little salty that Blood Angels get a Psyker's Dread and we don't. Well, oh yeah, the Grey Knights don't have a Psychic Dreadnought. Not a specifically Psychic Dreadnought. That's a very obvious thing you can add in. Emperor's Children usefulness pink. Wonderful. Let's get some more paint suggestions in the comments. Von Carmian Carmine, Von Carmian Median. Yeah, these are all good. Did nothing wrong for 30k colors, but did everything wrong blue for 40k colors. Yes. Redacted did something wrong. Oh, that would be lovely. I've seen knights painted with anime and manga over them. Yeah, there are people who have done also Valkyries. So it looks like the Vietnam War kind of chopper, which I think the whole aesthetic of them is based on that. And they've got like anime characters, anime styled commissars and such put on the side. Yeah. Who is my most hated and liked characters? Let's see. Ooh. There'll be something. Erebus. I mean, we all hate Erebus. Oh, there, I found the other question. Who is hated more, Erebus or Jim Bob the Gangle Man? Well, it's got to be Erebus. What I would really like to see is a box set like they've done for like Phoenix Rising and all the tie-in books like that. Have a box set that has a brand new Battle Sister Saint model. And we can have a named Saint, or just one more named Saint, like we've got Celestine, like we've got Definitely Not a Psyker, Friends with Eldar, Lightning from Her Eyes lady. And then we can have a brand new Saint with maybe not wings, maybe something like that. So have that against Erebus in 40k and have Erebus die. That would be great. Everyone wants him dead. He just needs to die. We could have him meet the Saint, get a new plastic Saint model. And they can have like in character this whole talk of, I am Erebus. The Emperor said that being a god isn't okay. I said he was a god and my legion got punished. You say that the Emperor is a god and you get rewarded. That doesn't seem fair. And then the Saint kills Erebus. No doubt to be followed up with like a campaign where she gets martyred by a Chaos faction, because the sisters can never have nice things for too long. And maybe she'll be killed off screen. What's my opinion on Alfarius? See, Alfarius I don't find as interesting a character as other people do. The idea of, oh, he might actually be loyal. He might actually be working towards some greater good with the conclave that got killed by Eldrad Ulthuan. I don't think it matters anymore. I think the whole tragedy of the Alpha Legion is that it doesn't matter what goal they originally had. They are very much a Chaos force now. And have been working for the last 10,000 years doing Chaos things for Chaos factions, including summoning demons and whatnot. Yeah. So it's not as good. What's my opinion on the Warhammer Plus models? Well, the not Isabella von Carstein model I don't think is as good as the not Isabella von Carstein model that you get in the 4 Vampire Warcry box set. I did mention it, I think, 1 or 2 live streams ago. That one, I think, looks much better as Isabella von Carstein. As for the character that looks like the Cadian Kazakin, it doesn't look enough like the artwork for it to be a clear representation. The sword is held very differently. It's a man at rest in the artwork. In the model, he's holding the sword like as if he's going to hit someone with it, which doesn't match. The also artwork from... Yeah, the artwork has the left leg forward, and that's how you get the sense of depth. It's a very good artwork piece. They couldn't get that with the model, so they just threw on a tactical rock. Once again, they just add more tactical rocks. You want to see more about tactical rocks? Earlier live streams, and it has been clipped and put as a video. If you go to my channel, just type in, search like tactical rocks. It'll come up as all the different tactical rocks they had in the Leviathan box set. It's pretty much all of them. Either that or like the spikes, Tyrannid spiky things. They are awful to put together though, because you need to use downward pressure to slot them into the hole on the base. The problem with that is it's a fluffing spike. You're pushing your thumb against a spike and hoping that the spike is the one that gives way. It's not a good design. So I want less tactical rocks and less spikes. Themes or flavors of armies that have changed over the years that you miss the old versions of regarding lore and mechanics. Ooh, that is another question that I had. I've just got to find where I've put it. I swear I had it. Let me just find it. There we go, got it. So, the other question I had was, which Warhammer army do you dislike? Any particular reason, such as disliking the lore? The Necrons. It's got to be the Necrons. I miss the flavor of the early Necrons, and I don't like the lore of the current Necrons. So originally, when they came out in 2nd edition, and murdered some sisters as their debut, then what they had was this whole, they're Terminators, like from the slasher Terminator film, the first one, before it got all loving and friendship and camaraderie and family in the second one. The first Terminator film is really good. It gets overshadowed by the second one, but the first Terminator film I recommend. They were really scary in that. They would turn up as Necron Raiders, as they were called, kill some people, do something, and then just disappear. And that was very scary. That was a unique kind of lore. Very Raider focused. And if you killed enough of them as a gameplay mechanic, like if you killed 75% of them, they just lost. Their entire army disappeared. But their army was really easy to paint. You didn't need a lot of models. Something like 25 models would be, at least 1,000 points, if not 2,000 points. And they still had destroyers, immortals, scarabs, warriors, and lords. Then Matt Ward happened to them in 2012, and they became Tomb Kings in space. So then they're politicking, they're getting mean to each other, they want to re-establish dynasties, which they mostly do by fighting each other. And they're no longer scary with these gods like shadowing over them behind. So if you play the Dawn of War games, which came out in 2004 for 4th edition, they have this lore of, they can summon these gods and bring the gods onto the battlefield, but really the gods are in control. Then it changed to, oh yeah, we had the gods and we just decided to put them in Pokeballs, and then we throw the Pokeballs and say, go, Deceiver-chan! And then the Deceiver does some deception, but not really deception, because they got smashed up and Pokeballed. Yeah, and I also don't like playing against Necrons, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. They're different to the Genestealer cult because the Genestealer cult go down really easily. The bodies hit the floor and then they get back up, and it's like a horde thing. Whereas with the Necrons, you put a lot of effort into killing just some of them, and then in an instant, all that hard work is undone and they get back up. It's the matter of how much effort you have to put into killing them before they come back. I also don't like the random cowboy phase that the Admech, the Genestealer cult, and the Necrons went through. It's just so strange to me. I don't think they should be cowboys. I made a fun video, I did my best to make a fun video on the Kellamorph for the Genestealer cult, so that exists on my channel. Yes, you should definitely go and look up all of these things in my channel after this live stream, or, search it now and queue it up while you're listening to me, and then you can listen to the video on the Kellamorph. Yeah, I don't like how they went. And now we have all of the cowboy stuff. Very strange. Yeah, it's another vampire in armor. Alfarius, Head of the Hydra is a good book. Good. The Word Bearers were just ahead of their time. The Word Bearers, basically, yes. Yes. Saint Delphine spreading holy water. Oh, that is a reference I definitely don't get. I'll have to look that up to find out exactly what you mean. Saint with tank treads. We could do a saint that's... We could do like Commissar Yarek's Fortress of Arrogance and have a saint on a Baneblade. And that Baneblade is a cathedral. We were just chatting about it in the Discord. Link to the Discord in the description if you want to join the Discord. About how we really want something like that. And it needs to drop down. We need it to be the only faction that has a super heavy knight equivalent or just super heavy vehicle tank thing that can deep strike. None of this previous editions where it's like, oh, with the Cadian commander, you can outflank a Baneblade from behind a tree. No, none of that. We're going to drop from the sky with our Baneblade Cathedral Saint tank and do it that way. I don't know if I have a favorite battle system model. I think it's going to be the metal ones. There's a metal one with a mace held in the air, the superior with the sword. That is something that looks a lot like the artwork that they had in 2nd edition. There's some very nice artwork, but they've made it less stupid because the artwork where it went a bit too far. The 2nd edition artwork is beautiful for the Battle Sisters. If you can ever get your hands on even a digital copy, not that we're of course recommending that, of the very first Battle Sisters Codex from 1997, I never got a copy myself, then it has some wonderful artwork that I very much recommend. Yeah, so that sort of model is very nice. The new Battle Sister Superior that you get in the Battle Sister box is a homage to that model and the artwork before it. Yeah, so that's a nice model. That's a very nice model. Have I watched Starship Troopers or Event Horizon? I don't think I've watched Event Horizon. That doesn't ring a bell. Starship Troopers, definitely. Starship Troopers is a lot of fun. I played a couple of the games. They had a Starship Trooper miniature game. That didn't really work very well. It was just, there's people who are going to die, and yeah, you're just how long you can last against these infinite horde of bugs. It's not great. It's not great. The Necron Monolith, oh yeah, that can deep strike teleport. And then we're just getting all of the Necron comments. 10 Lich Guard and a Techromancer for you. Yep, I'll get it tomorrow. Cowboys, 3 Hex Marks. Yep, I'll get that tomorrow. I think they just showed off a new squig model in the community. Good question. It is community time for them to release new things. They're doing an invitation look at all the stuff for the Codex Tyranids at the moment on the community. There is a new squig model. That is a squig that is just a tactical rock. Right, that's going to go on my community tab later. It's a squig that they made into a tactical rock. That is just awful. There was an edited version of a World War II movie where H-Man is shouting about the battle plans and the subtitles and make them all about land raiders deep striking. Oh dear. There has been a lot of edits to things like that. Yeah, if Games Workshop did a survey, what sort of new Genestealer Occult units do you think would fit well with the theme? That is kind of the problem I've had. I don't know exactly how you'd go for it. You want to get the mining oppressed workers kind of thing. You could have, I don't know, not a psychic commune, but some kind of unit that's like 5 characters all together and have like a council, a trade union leadership of the Genestealer cult and go with it like that. Sorry you're late. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's plenty there. There's tactical nurglings. Oh, yeah. Tactical nurglings everywhere. On armor, on people's shoulders. Yeah, a seer council. Maybe not psychic-based. Maybe not that. But something like that. Event Horizon was heavily inspired by 40k. Oh, right, yeah. Where they travel through hell. So it's a fan prequel to 40k. Genestealer Cult Brass Band. No, we have the Clamorous. That is already too much music that's going into the army. Can't have any more than that. Did I have anything else on that? Unit ideas, yes. Well, we'll see. French Revolution, 18th Century Enlightenment. You could do that. Oh, we could have a guillotine. Some kind of transported guillotine where you're just executing people, but it's a vehicle and it's inspiring people and also got a church organ that fires missiles. And nope, I've switched into Battle Sisters. My mind just is all about Battle Sisters at the moment. I do have more Genestealer Occult videos to come at the moment. It's just at the moment when I put out I'm saying at the moment a lot. At the moment, I'm saying at the moment a lot. If I put out a Genestealer Occult video, it gets just under 1,000 views. If I put out a Battle Sister one, it gets just over 1,000 views. Part of that is because it's summer and people are on holiday and not watching YouTube at the moment because they're with their family and burning elsewhere. Where can I get cheap products? Also, I'm UK based, by the way. Oh, funny you should mention that. I happen to have an affiliate link. So if you check the description, then, and maybe I can put it in chat again. Yes, I can. There it is. It's in chat again. So if you go to Firestorm Games, which is a UK based company, you can get discounted Warhammer 40k stuff following that link. And also I get money off that. So that is, you know, it helps you, it helps me, it helps the company. It doesn't help Games Workshop, who has ludicrously high prices. So everyone can benefit, except Games Workshop, but that's fair enough. Genestealer Cult Musician, yeah, you could do that. Oh, we could have like our own actual artillery pieces. I don't know what it would shoot, but anything that's Genestealer Cult related like that. Mining, we could have I think it's gone to Legends. It may have gone to Legends. The quad cannon for the Space Marines that did tremors and you could fire it and it would explode underground and make people move slower. Then you could do that, but have it as a Genestealer Cult thing. Just long range mining and it travels through the ground and makes a perfect mine shaft. That'd be funny. And, you know, you could be using it as a massive artillery piece. There was a question, something along the lines of that. When used in your opponent's command phase, does Light of the Emperor stratagem let you fire Overwatch not on 6s but normally? No, you can only fire... You only hit on 6s regardless of what you do with Overwatch. Now, if you When would you use Light of the Emperor? So if you were hit by something like the Barb Gaunts or Basilisk or this hypothetical Genestealer Cult Massive Cannon, and you really need to get to an objective and, you know, charge, and maybe the enemy is as stealth, so you're moving slower, you're charging slower, your shooting's worse, you could use Light of the Emperor for that. But I think it's a stratagem that you're just not going to be able to use ever. I didn't use it when my Repentia hit by Barb Gaunts. It was a Tyrannid army that was basically just 2 of the new boxes. So it had a Neuro Tyrant, a lot of the Neuro Gaunts, loads of Termagants, Screamer Killer, Barb Gaunts, stuff like that. The Repentia got hit by the Barb Gaunts. I moved 7 inches anyway as Repentia, so that being reduced to 5 isn't too bad. And it was a 6-inch charge, so that's changed to 8, so it's fine. You know, it's not that bad if I failed. I use the command point on grenades elsewhere and just do some mortal wounds. That's just how Battle Sisters are at the moment. Thanks for the Genestealer cult, by the way. I don't think there's any other creator who is more dedicated to the cults and sisters than myself. I don't think I've found one. There's people who have done like occasional videos once a month, like, oh, I play Genestealer cult, I'll put out a video on YouTube and talk for like 20 minutes while spinning in a chair. Not quite how I do it. Mine is like, I talk for however long the video is that you see. I have talked for 3 times that length and then cut it way down. Just because I need to get out all of the rambling and the stuff that's not quite relevant to make it really good. So you are very welcome, Big Yeti Kane, for the Genestealer cult and Battle Sister videos. You could explore more aberrants, subtypes of Genestealers. Yeah, I mean, you could have your Margle Genestealers be their own thing. You could have Lictors that are friendly. Oh, you could have Genestealers that have like... We could have dog Genestealers. Something a bit like a Croot Hound, but it's on a leash, and you have a like 3rd generation hybrid pulling a leash of something like that. But let's not get into like chariot territory. That's a bit too weird, I think, for 40k. I know it kind of works for Slanesh, but they also work in Age of Sigmar, so that's one way it could be done. Yeah, I like the idea of like little hounds, Genestealer hounds that look a bit like Termagants. Maybe something like that. You could have even larger aberrants, I suppose. Something like Ogryn size, actually Ogryn sized. That's a possibility. Goth rock a full unit of orcs. They did have, for I want to say 8th edition, no 9th edition, in the White Dwarf, they were like, okay, here's your Goth rocker, here is the rules for him so you can use him. And I think he's just gone forever now. Not even gone to Legends. Legends units, by the way, you can use in casual play, which is what they're calling open play now, in narrative play, which is Crusade, and in competitive play, which is your basic everyday standard game at the club. And then we have a 4th thing, which is tournaments, which Legends are not recommended for. But if the organizers of the tournament will allow you to use Legends, then you can. So Legends units, don't be that sad about Space Marine things going to Legends. You can still use them in basically every game, apart from, you know, some tournaments. Mole Mortar was an underground shell. Yes, and old termites. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we could definitely need them for the Genestealer cult. That would definitely work. I mean, we already have everything in the army pretty much can deep strike. I don't know what you would use it for other than just have some melters and things and it comes out. And now we've got flamers and do it. You could do an ice cutter version, which has flamers. That would be pretty good. And the friendly lictors do just want to hug you and like run their tentacle mouths over your head. A flyer, the Battle Sisters having a flyer could be nice. And we indeed need to get those cult limos back. Because having the rules for Ridge Runners, but you sort of have a cult limo idea, it doesn't quite work. The cult limo was in artwork, someone kit bashed a model. There were never really official rules for the cult limo, apart from fan-made ones over the years. Quite fun though. Which army is my favourite? We will not be answering that question. You can ask any question you want. I may not answer any question. It very much depends on the day as to what I feel like. If I want to go hordes of things and, you know, destroy oppressors, or if I want to be unfortunately oppressed and fight back against it. You know, you can switch like that. And maybe I just want to play Space Marines because I rarely play Space Marines. Yeah, Brood Brothers, you could have more Brood Brothers. Yeah, the Rogue Trader Cult Limo was never actually a real sold model, unfortunately. It was just something someone kit bashed and it became synonymous, and I think it's in Warhammer World now. But it was never a model in itself, unfortunately. What other questions have we got? Turn a giant bucket wheel mining machine into a walker. Oh, you could go very... Oh, what's the game series called? No, it's just one game. It's set in like 1921. It's very steampunk. Iron Harvest. I think it's called Iron Harvest. You could do something like that with a Genestealer cult thing and have a massive cog. At that point, it's probably looking more orky than anything. But yeah. Official models, no. There were no official models for it. So having a cult limo would be nice. Just having a transport that isn't throwing out demolition charges. Something for style. Yeah. What about a Death Guard list with Night Tyrant, Defilers, and a backline of shooting and Poxwalkers with Typhus? Yeah, that works. In my video on how to play Death Guard and sort of do well, I recommended lots of vehicles or flooding the board. I don't know how well it would work going like a mix, but you've got a knight in there, so that's pretty good. Try it out, see if it's fun. If it's anything else, it's fun. Am I on Twitter? I have an account on x.com. I just don't do anything with it. It's just there in case people really need to contact me and need it like, oh yes, verifying that it's the same person. But if you did need to contact me for anything like official, I have an official email address, which is in the YouTube. Then you click the links and then it's there. So there is a Twitter, but I don't do anything with the Twitter, so it's not really worth following me on Twitter. Same name, so it's more of a placeholder so no one else could take it. Should Grey Knights ever ally with Battle Sisters? Well, the times that Grey Knights have allied with Battle Sisters and they sort of worked together, it hasn't really gone well for the Battle Sisters. There is the incident, which got retconned to the Battle Sisters held out really well against demons and then died off screen. Otherwise, there was the first War of Armageddon where everyone was killed, basically. Anyone who survived it and saw Angron or heard of Angron and fought demons, they were sent to work camps and sterilized, and it was all awful. The Space Wolves didn't like that. The Grey Knights really liked that and were like, we're just doing our job. You shouldn't even know about us, Grey Knights. No, Space Wolves, you shouldn't... Grey people, Space Wolves. You shouldn't even know about us, so... you watch it. You watch it. And then the Space Wolves got uppity and fought against the Inquisition, and then the Battle Sisters were sent to deal with them and were killed in orbit, and it was like, oh dear, this is what happens when the Grey Knights and the Battle Sisters team up. Now, I think Witch Hunters and Demon Hunters are separate for a reason, and part of that reason is we don't want Psykers as Battle Sisters. With the exception maybe of a Psyker that's an Inquisitor. That's totally allowed. They have their own rules to follow and we have to follow their rules. What's my advice on supporting neophyte units? Can't see a reason not to put the Primuses with the Acolyte bombs. Yeah, I definitely would. Is there any great choices for non-Primus characters in neophyte blocks? I use a Nexus. Because then you can do all of your stratagems, which are really, really good stratagems. I think even when the Genestealer Cult book comes out, the Codex with loads more detachments, people will still keep using this one. And then we can have, well, you can move your unit entirely across the board. You can appear 3 inches away, even if another unit, like one with a demolition charge, has already done it. And things like that. And you can have a Ridge Runner support them to get them an extra AP. I have a whole video on the Neophytes, which I did, I think, last week. So that's worth checking out if you haven't already checked that out. I think I recommend the Nexus as the best one. You could have Chaos Mutant Forces. Yeah, Chaos Tyrannid Cult. I like that. Yeah, have more Chaos things allied in, because at the moment it's all like kind of Imperial, kind of generic. Maybe more Assassins. Ooh, do we want more Assassins? The idea of models and rules for the remaining 3 Assassins houses. I'm okay with there being 4 and it being like there were 7 that were powerful in 30k and 3 of them have very much dropped off in 40k if they sort of exist. Yes, what is 40k? It is Warhammer 40,000, a game invented by Games Workshop in the 1980s that has been going a very long time. I started playing times in 2nd edition. It's a tabletop game, and there's also board games of other kinds and computer games. And if you are very interested, Then I have a video I did recently on 10.5 things you need to know before you start 40k. Worth a look. 30k is resin kits for some of the other ones. Oh, the Venom. I mean, if we're doing Venom, then you're probably looking more at Genestealer Cult or Dark Eldar. That sort of style already exists. Info site, again, Genestealer Cult. It could work with them. Thanks to your sister video, I was kind of tempted to collect a Sisters army. I keep telling people, no, it's not a good thing to collect Sisters. And they're like, oh, I really love your passion for the Sisters. Like, please don't do it. You'll torture yourself like I have been. They're not a good faction. They're fun. I enjoy them, but I don't recommend them. And then people are getting Battle Sisters. Everything is my fault. I don't know how to stop the cycle. Do I plan to do more rules explanation videos? My videos on Big Guns Never Tire was the reason I found your channel and subscribed. I do plan to do more of them. Both Rules Explained short and long ones. I did a Fight Phase Explained very recently. So that's, again, a thing worth checking out. The difficulty with them is finding a rule that people don't understand. Otherwise, the comments are just going to be like, yeah, everyone knew that, everyone did it that way, what are you talking about? But it also hasn't to be so mired in interpretations that it gets just various comments of, I do it this way, I do it this way. Like my Genestealer Cult Patriarch video got just 100 comments all about how do you do the Acolytes, do they get the demolition charges back? And that was just every comment on the video. And it would be nice to have some Genestealer Cult and Patriarch related comments on that video, but oh well. So picking the right rule is difficult. I have a few more ideas, I've written them down, they will get done at some point. No, it's fine. I'm totally fine with repeating myself just to make sure that, you know, all of the same things do exist. Do I like anything in addition to the Nexus and Primus? I mean, the Icon Ward's not bad for 5+ Feel No Pain. I'm going to have a video on the Magos coming soon and what you can use the Magos for, because the Genestealer Cult Magos has kind of dropped off. You're most welcome, you mad. I play Death Guard for life, but yeah, yeah. Ride or die, Death Guard. And there's someone else. Thank you, Zerota, for also deciding to get into Battle Sisters, because you had some Imperial Guard, like Crusaders and things, that are now Battle Sisters only. So you could do a Ecclesiarchy entirely one. You could do the Unreformed. Ooh, they ride motorcycles. I don't really like the idea of a biker unit for Battle Sisters. I think we already have Seraphim and Zephyrim, which I sometimes pronounce as Seraphim, because obviously, if you're going Christianity route with your naming systems, you're going to have Seraphim, and then you're going to have Seraphim, because they're both angel things. Why would you not do it that way? Why would you switch to Greek and do Zephyrim? It makes no sense, but they did it. So we've got them. I don't think we need just bikes. We would have toughness for Battle Sisters, but I don't think we need bikes. Drop cathedrals, definitely. Maybe not the bikes. It would be nice to see, well, Celestians return. I'll do another video on Celestians soon. Otherwise, you could have, like, redeemed characters. So if they were Repentia and then they got redeemed and now they're back to being Battle Sisters, or maybe just go straight to being Elite Celestians. So when they do Celestians come round again, then you could have an elite version of the redeemed Repentia, and it's like, this is the paragon of what you should be. Something like that. What if the Battle Sisters took Space Marine tanks? Especially like firstborn ones. Yeah, we talked about this in the Discord. So they already have Rhinos, we already have not Razorbacks, we already have not Predators, we already have not Whirlwinds, so we may as well get different versions. We need to have, we've saying for years that we need a Manta-sized drop cathedral, absolutely. When I keep emailing Games Workshop when they're like, what do you think we should have for the Battle Sisters? I must be one of the only people to reply. Because I said earlier times, hey, can we have plastic Battle Sisters? And then we got plastic Battle Sisters. Then it was, hey, I think we need a Palatine to come back. I think we'd probably do with some like Combat Celestians, something like that. Because we had like Fist of Faith, which gave them +1 strength, but it's kind of useless on a character, on a model that's like 2 attacks at strength 4 now. Ooh, so we're still not as good as Space Marines. And then we got the Celestian Sacrosanct, and then we lost actual Celestians. So next time it'd be like, where's the Celestians, Games Workshop? What have you done to them? They could come back. We could have some Ophalim for Sisters. Oh, right, that's the Internal Inquisition for the Blood Angels. But yeah, we could do, just keep going through all of the different angel things that Christianity has. And then do some, you know, lore-accurate Battle Sisters that's just an orb with many, many eyes. That could be good. What do I think of Sisters of Silence? I mean, they're okay in 30k as a concept. I'm fine with them there. If you're putting them in 40k, I think they should just be an elite Battle Sister unit. I don't think they work with the Custodes. And I know that people who play Custodes don't take them because it's a quite expensive 1 wound toughness 3 model. They did have 2 wounds in 9th edition, and that rather suited them. So having a Battle Sister unit that's just, here's the Sisters of Silence, which you could proxy as Celestians. They could come back and then just have 2 wound Celestians. The Chaos Sisters faction is all just biblically accurate angels. Yeah, kind of. And that's what happened with the Demonifuge. All of her fellow sisters were turned into a cage of screaming flesh. Yeah, biblically accurate angels are just Chaos Sisters. Oh dear. What's the next question? What units do you run in your current armies and how are they performing in 9th edition compared to 10th edition compared to 9th edition? Well, well-itty well. Acolytes are doing... They're weird. Demolition chargers definitely have way more punch, but all of my acolytes with the mining weapons, against tanks and things, I'm used to wounding on a 3+. Now I'm wounding like a Lehman Russ on a 5+, so it's not going as well. I still haven't quite figured out how to use aberrants. Whether you want to be infiltrating with an enhancement and do it that way, which is really powerful, whether you want to deep strike and use rapid ingress to get there and hit something quickly, I've had mixed results with that. Or if you want to just sit them on an objective and be incredibly tough, that could be good. Yeah, Sisters of Silence used to have 2 wounds. I'm pretty sure in 9th edition. If you check Warpedia, which has still got the 9th edition rules on them, then the Sisters of Silence for the Custodes, their 3 versions, I think all had 2 wounds. The Genestealer Occult Magos isn't doing as well, so I'll do a video on that. What else is doing differently? The Chaos Chosen are still doing quite nicely. Other Chaos things are doing alright. The Stern Guard are doing much better, definitely in this edition. I am enjoying quite a few of the Space Marine units that are going to be sent off to Legends. I am really enjoying the Space Marine Scouts. Being able to infiltrate Scout and then do an outflank on your opponent's turn, and then just come in and stab people with knives. Naturally, I have the 2nd edition Space Marine Scouts. Really fun models. You could look them up. They have all these mohawks and stuff like that. Yeah. What would you say to a shooting unit of Celestians? Wow, what a concept. I think we should maybe have one of them. And maybe, you know, they could be better if there's a leader with them and they could do bodyguard stuff. I'll do another video on the Celestians at some point soon. What sort of thematic detachments or detachment mechanics would you like to see with Genestealer Cult when it comes out in 3025? Well, probably things we could have it a lot like we've had before in 9th edition. So we could have the Hive Cult, which gives you a much expanded amount of Brood Brothers you could use, maybe 50%, and more bonuses to give them rules so they're more integrated into the Genestealer Cult. That could be nice. Janissaries were the thing with rules. Janissaries could be cool. Yeah, just running along with cannons. At that point, I think we've entered Age of Sigmar and the new Cities of Sigmar rules, which are very nice. Young me drowned these in acrylic. Oh, you're painting Necrons, stripping Necrons, painting them. Wonderful. Good, good. Yeah, so the new Cities of Sigmar stuff, and again, I put some of these on my community tab on YouTube. Again, it's another thing to check out, because I do post something there like every day. They're looking really good for Battle Sisters. So as soon as they have a unit with big shields, I'll just get them and proxy them as Crusaders or as Celestian Sacrosancts. Yes, I don't know what other ones you could have. Oh, you can maybe have something that allies in some AdMech units. And that could be the Bladed Cog. Otherwise, something that's boosting Aberrants, boosting the guy with the Doctor, the Mad Doctor. Yeah, you could Twisted Helix. Yes, you could have something that boosts them even more. Something like that. More combat detachments for the Twisted Helix. I'm going to see what we can do with Metamorphs. It may just be that Metamorphs become good when the points change for acolytes. Then, by comparison, metamorphs are doing a whole lot. Other than the mining weapons, you probably want to do metamorphs if you're doing a close combat thing, but at that point you probably just want to do gene stealers. Just regular gene stealers. Yeah. What's my favorite battle system model? I think all of the new models are really ugly and awful to build. So many pieces, and it's like, oh look, you can put them together, and it's definitely not monopose. You put them together and they only fit one way, so they're basically monopose models, at which point just make them monopose, please. Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know if Chaos has the best ally setup. They do have demons and knights, and all of the different Chaos Space Marine sub-factions can sort of feed into the main Chaos Space Marine army. But it could be, I mean, all of the Imperial factions have really good choices for different things you can ally in, just not, what's it called? Oh, hello. Just tipped 75 monies. Thank you very much. Well, that has definitely paid for a cathedral's worth of prayer candles for the Sisters of Battle. Thank you very much, Burp at the Moon at Night. A very wonderful name. Yeah, it updates really quickly. So thank you for that. That's just reached a whole nother goal in itself. Wonderful. I mean, I did say in the little Ko-Fi description thing that I won't be able to enter the cathedral itself and maybe spending that money on, oh, I don't know, Goblin Green paint and some more Battle Sisters models, but thank you so much. That has entirely smashed the goal in one go. I do love it when that happens with the live streams. So it updates pretty quickly. That's wonderful to know. Thank you so much for that. Oh, and thank you, Mad, for subscribing. I'd see that as well. I must have missed that earlier. Wonderful. I want to field Metamorphs with the Locust Icon Ward or Biophagus. That was the name I was thinking of. They could make a really spicy thing. Yeah, it's the problem with them is better choices exist. So when the points get changed, if they are actually looking in detail at the Gene Stealer Code points, and they should, though they've said maybe not the Battle Sisters, which is kind of weird because they were always naming, oh, Leagues of Votan are doing badly, Admech are doing badly, Death Guard are doing badly, and their focus was all about them, and then they didn't mention Battle Sisters, which is so annoying. So their points, Battle Sisters may just get very little in points change. Gene Stealer Cult should, and then once the points change on the Acolytes, then the Metamorphs become better, and then the videos that I have half written already can be released. Sisters could take saved Beastmen. Ooh, that's what Battle Sisters could have. Bring back Fraternus Militia. Just give us something like that. In fact, you could do a civilian unit. So we already have something like that for Necromunda, but a civilian unit in White Dwarf, and it's like, okay, you can have this in your Imperial Guard army as conscripts, or as, you know, they've escaped from prison and something like that. You could have them as Fraternus Militia in your Battle Sisters. You could have them as Brood Brothers, like the family members of the Gene Stealers in the Gene Stealer Cult army. That would be really cool. And then, you know, stick them in Imperial Allies and have just anyone with, here's some Imperial citizens. Objective control 0, just so everyone and their mum doesn't start taking them. But it'd be a really cool thing. When is the points announcement? It is mid-September. I think I've got it down as like somewhere between the 14th and 18th of September. That's what the rumors, leaks, hints were saying. So we may get the Tyranid Codex first, and then we'll get the Space Marine Codex later in September. Something like that. Am I using actual Goblin Green paint for the bases? I absolutely am, as much as I can, as much as I can find. Yes. So when I've been showing off like how to build the novitiates as all the different characters, that is Goblin Green. Still have some pots left. Otherwise, I use Vallejo Goblin Green. That's another thing I have that's feeding into it. Again, if you want to use the Vallejo paints, you may be able to get a discount. I don't know if they're sold by my Firestorm Games affiliate. But yes, there's a Firestorm Games affiliate link. You should definitely have a look at that. Give it a click. And then if you buy anything 40k related and you're in the UK, I get a kickback and you get a discount, which is the discount that you already come built in compared to the buying them from Warhammer stuff. Don't want the Dusty Boys to be wrecked again. We'll have to see what happens. It may just be very minor, unfortunately. Yeah. How about a Sisters of Battle unit that leans on the Pilgrim's Crusade theme? Again, that's probably more Age of Sigmar stuff. Like Novitiates, but more, yeah, chaff and cheaper. So that's where you get the Fraternist Militia. That could be quite good. One Battle Sister, just one Superior. Something like that. Yeah, yeah. What kit do you find best for kit bashing? A lot of custom or proxy models. Like the Exalted Sorcerers, even after building all three, has so much stuff left over. Ooh. I don't know if there's any, like, this is an amazing kit. You can do whatever with it. I mean, I have been having fun mixing the Genestealer Occult Neophytes. Oh, Genestealer Occult Neophytes, definitely. I've used some of those bodies as assassins for my Battle Sisters. You could have... I've been mixing them with AdMech stuff, so you can have a Cult of the Rusted Cog, that one, that army, and do it like that. We could have more Abhuman Auxilia. Yeah, something like that. Or you could go weird. The 30k has the Militia. I don't know if it's for tournaments, where they have, like, from a Night World, they have altered eyes, and then they just ignore night fighting. That's kind of funny. So, yeah. Maybe a little bit mutanty, but you could have that in a Battle Sisters army. Maybe. Yeah, so Loyalist Beastmen. That could be nice. Tyranid Codex pre-order is on the 3rd of September, release is on the 9th, so points should be, yeah, around the 16th, so I'm guessing, I had put in 14th to 18th will be new points release. So, depending on how much they hit Genestealer or Battle Sister will depend on which one of those two gets the video first, and then the next day, they'll get another one. Yes, that would be very nice. And thank you again for the money, that is very much appreciated. It lets me, you know, keep doing this as sort of as much of a job as I can. It's a good way to spend bank holidays, so thank you again very much for that money. If anyone did want to also add to the future goal or get special perks, which you can get, there's either the join button to join the YouTube channel, and then you can have these little stickers next to you which mark you out as a special person. You get the emotes. I don't know if anyone in chat who has these abilities wants to just throw in some of the emotes. They're called things like Von Mad and Von Shock, and they're little fun things. Or you can go to Ko-fi and you can become a renewed member, and then you get a link to the Discord, and then you can request videos. So some of the videos I have said, these were done at the request of Ko-fi members, and it's like £10 a month, so you can get any video you want pretty much within reason, you know, for £10 a month. So that's pretty good. I try and make it as good as deals I can. If you want it improved, then, you know, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you very much. There's the Von Wave. I do like the Von Wave. Oh, Von High. That is Von High. It's a very nice one. So I made all them specially for you guys. Next thing I'll be working on is more affiliate links for people in Australia, North America, Europe, and getting them working so you can all get some very nice discounted Warhammer models recommended by me, which will help you, which helps the company, which also helps me because they give me a nice kickback. So I get money from them. The more people use the links, the more money I get, which should be nice. You should add a tier to play with you on Tabletop Simulator. It's a thought. I did have that thought, and then I decided no, because I don't much like playing on Tabletop Simulator. I did it for like a year or so during the plague times, as we call them. The problem is that games last twice as long as they normally should, so I would only ever want to do 1,000 points at most. Yeah. And then it's also linking people to my Steam account, and I don't know if I want to do that. But it's an idea. A tier to play in person. I, again, thought about that, but then it's traveling to that person in, let's just stick to the UK. Again, we have the, oh, suddenly face reveal, and something, yeah, kind of weird like that. And then it's the cost of traveling. So we're then looking at the tier is £100, and that's just the train costs. Yeah. Oh, well. Hi, Von High from the Arms Experiment Times. We don't talk about the Arms Experiment era. Okay. Okay. Sure. I feel like Genestealer Cult should get more infiltrator units like the Lictor or Ripper Swarms. Maybe. Maybe something like around that. But there's going to be a Tyranid detachment. that is like led by Death Leaper. And then you've got the lictors. You've got a psychic lictor, which does battle shock things. That's going to come out. So there'll be something focused around them and Genestealer Cult. Yeah. Don't people want to see my extensive hours on Hoonipop on stream? Hoonipop 1 and, of course, Hoonipop 2. Did Markiplier play Hoonipop 2? Someone did. So, yes, obviously, that. Yeah. What are the competitive 40k teams over in 40k like? Over in the UK like? I don't know much about the competitive ones for 40k. There's, I mean, they seem really nice, but then there's a lot of problems with traveling to different places. Traveling in Europe is okay. The problem comes with traveling into the United States, because then you're going a long way for the tournament. You then have to get through United States TSA, which can be difficult when you have very sharp things. And then you then play for a day, possibly 2, and then you have to get back, and you have the jet lag and things to deal with. So it's all a bit difficult. Thank you, new latest person to subscribe. Very nice of you to do so. I hope you enjoy your time here. So I'm not super up on the 40k tournaments stuff in the UK. They're competitive teams. They seem nice people. I do know people who in the Welsh Age of Sigmar team. So that travels around, and they're a pretty well organized, nice bunch. Captain's a really nice guy. So if you're in Wales, in the UK, and you want to do Age of Sigmar, they're a really nice group to get involved with. And then they travel around and do different things. But that's a lot more fun for, like, if you do it in teams of like 4 or 8, and you need to have 1 or 2 different people take each of the great alliances. And you can't have the same army each. So if you could do 1 person with Nighthaunt, 1 person with Vampire Counts, and that could be your 2 Death and something like that. So yeah, it'd be pretty fun like that. Once we get an idea what the codex looks like, we can homebrew detachments. Yes, that'll be very doable. They'll be a lot less flavored and pretty easy to do. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for the I am going to homebrew a new Celestian unit in 10th edition. The thing is, you don't want to have it too intense, because then if it's like, oh, this unit has 4 separate rules, it's not going to work. It's really not going to work. So I'll probably maybe stick to like 1 special rule. Keep it limited, keep it light. That's how the rules are in 10th edition, and I think they're much better for it. Sisters of Battle Hellhounds? We don't need Hellhounds. We have Immolators. Vindicares? No, Vindication? What's that? Oh, the massive shell cannon. Maybe if it fires like a massive melter shot, and at that point we have the Genestealer Cult and Imperial Guard, if you want to call it that. The Nova Cannon. I really like the Nova Cannon one. It's kind of fun. If I had to focus on a non-40k Games Workshop game, what would it be? Ooh, I would probably end up just doing Age of Sigmar, something like that. Horus Heresy, I haven't got into as much. You know, it's all right. But finding players is more difficult. I think I also did have another question about this, which I have written down. About different things I would play. Tum-ty-tum-ty-tum. Ah, here it is. Despite the channel name, have you or do you play any other games, full-scale skirmish, things like that? Have I considered doing content about them? So if suddenly Games Workshop said, hey, you're not allowed to call yourself the 40k VTuber, even though it's a general moniker rather than specifically, you know, TM Games Workshop. Can't talk about that anymore. Then being a vampire is really nice because I can just not need to change my model and keep going with something else. Infinity could be kind of fun. Other things, oh, I'm trying to think of all the different games. Battlefleet Gothic is really nice. I do quite like the Battlefleet Gothic game. That is fun. Both the online version, first one better than the second one, I think. It gets a bit too confusing when you got all the things going on. It's like, oh, hey, here's everyone from the Gothic War 900 years earlier. And then they're back somehow. Somehow, he has returned and will obviously become leader. Yeah, so MESBG. Oh, what's that one? You'll have to... I'm blanking on acronyms at the moment. You'll have to tell me what MESBG stands for. Blood Bowl was okay. The old Inquisitor game was fun, but you needed a GM to run that. So that would work as a roleplay game. Dark Heresy. I've been in a very long-running Dark Heresy game. So we talk about the roleplay aspect like that. So that could be fun, doing like one-shots of that sort of thing. Yeah. Have I looked at the new Age of Sigmar RTS Realm of Ruin? I haven't. I really haven't. Oh, but some of the games, other things, Mordheim was quite... I wouldn't say it was a good game. I would say it was addictive. Then the problem was they paywalled the vampire faction. It's just a general faction that should be in there. It's one of the 6 factions you get in the Mordheim game, which I have from the year 2000, 2001. And then they paywall the vampires. And that is just awful. So I ended up playing the not Battle Sisters in that. And Skaven, because I also like the Skaven. Speaking of other games, would you have recommended things like X-Wing? Oh yeah, X-Wing 2nd Edition got a bit weird. The games like that, kind of strange. And they do okay. I'm trying to think of the other games that people play. Infinity, they play. Maelstrom, no. Mantic. Mantic's quite good. Yeah, that's the same. Are you a Mordheim mourner like myself, or have you moved on to more specialist games? I still play a little bit of Mordheim. People at the club I go to run every now and then a little bit of a Mordheim tournament. Problem with Mordheim and Necromunda, after a few weeks, the armies look so, the little gangs, they look so much different to what you started with that you kind of just want to start again, and then you have the whole building like your own town basically on the edge of it. It gets a bit paper intensive when you just want a lot of fun thing. Arch, who's Arch? Someone threatened because he used Warhammer in the name. Yeah, I mean, it's better just to remove it and keep going. That's the benefit as well. I can be 40k VTuber Christian von Carmian, and then I can just be Christian von Carmian. None of that's trademarked. It's very nice. Ah, the Middle-earth strategy battle game. I have played quite a bit of that when it was at its peak in the 2000s. I had a hobbit force. Millions of hobbits throwing rocks in ranks. Front rank fire, second rank fire, but with rocks. Very fun. I had Arnor and the Rangers. They were good. Middle-earth strategy battle game was quite fun. I haven't really liked the newer rules with detachments and things, so it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, 40k is a generic term. That's why Warhammer 40,000 is the official title. Yeah. So I go entirely by fan terms. So it's useful. I may do. Okay. It's a thought. I'll write it down. Then again, I know there's like 8 different podcasts running at the moment that all say the Warhammer podcast. So it's a thing. Had a bad experience with Mordheim on tabletop. That's a shame. What about roleplay games? I do indeed play roleplay games. It's trying to get like people together. As VTubers, there's quite a lot of people are like, oh, no one's ever played like D&D before, and then you could update your character as the game goes on. And it has this exact same problem that all other D&D games have. And it's like the what's his name? Tom Scott. I think his name's Tom Scott. Where as soon as you say, who's free on this day? It's, I am currently underground in an abandoned Soviet nuclear base. I am currently in the Antarctic. I am currently up the Himalayas. And suddenly no one is free at any given day. And it's like months between sessions. So D&D, I'm very open to and happy to, in theory, do a D&D one-shot with like a bunch of other VTubers. That could be fun as a one-off. So I do play, I know D&D and Pathfinder and the offshoots like that. So yeah, I do a lot of that stuff, not just wargaming. But, you know, wargaming does eventually take up a lot of the time. I do a lot of videos about the Warhammer 40k stuff like that. And then when I do have free time, I'm playing 40k because I really don't want to end up as an armchair commenter who's like, oh, you should definitely play this unit because on paper it looks pretty good. That's why it took a couple of weeks after everyone else had done like, oh, index reveal Battle Sisters, let's have a look at that. I took a couple of weeks, got the points, and could really analyze, okay, you want this unit with this character and they do this character with this unit and they do this, and it can be much more useful information than, yeah, maybe Morwen Val with Paragon Warsuits is pretty good. I just can't get behind that, especially when it's a really long video that's like an hour long and there's so little substance to it. That's why I like my videos to be like 10 minutes long. I have tried doing them shorter, but any video that's like 1, 2, 3 minutes long, it gets so few views. It's in the hundreds rather than thousands, so I know that my audience doesn't particularly like videos that length. Keep it about, 10 minutes. Never only really played Advanced 3.5, never got into 4th and 5th. Not many people did. People stuck with 3.5. I've done 3.5 and 5th. I don't think I ever played 4th. Warfleets, Dropkick Commander, Star Wars Armada are all pretty decent. Very good. Do I have a favourite piece of 40k terrain? Well, I have the card Battle Sister Shrine from 2nd edition, like White Dwarf 212. It's a really cool piece. I have that still. It works. I really liked it when they did card terrain. Hopefully, they would do that again. Has the stream really been going on for 23 hours? I don't know. Maybe something like that. At some point, I will pause for breath, but that's maybe an optional thing. I wouldn't want to break the immersion and think that, you know, vampires might actually breathe. It may have just been announced for 23 hours, and so there'll be a community tab thing saying, hey, this is going to happen, rather than I've actually been streaming for 23 hours. That would be impressive. That would be very impressive. But if you did want to thank me for streaming for 23 hours, as apparently I already have, Ko-Fi link is in the description. You can drop some one-off pennies, and I will thank you as it comes up. And thanks very much again to the last person that dropped some tip money into the tip jar to pay for the cathedral's worth of candles for the Battle Sisters. Yes. There are, I don't know if it's they haven't done STLs, but there was someone who had printable card versions of all of them. So things like the all of the Warhammer Fantasy ones, the ones where they introduced the Red Duke, all of that cool pre-Garden of More stuff. So it could be just, here's some card, print it. And again, for the Mordheim terrain, that's really cool, and you could print that. Can't wonder how me and Lumi would get on. She's part of FaZe Connect and has enjoyed playing 40k VTuber, 40k video games. Yes, yes. Goodness, how would the two of us get on? Well, the thing with collabing is you can mention such a person, and then, you know, maybe one of them or maybe the other one reaches out and maybe it doesn't work, maybe you can't get a time together. So I can never say if I will or will not, or have asked or haven't asked or have refused to collab with someone. It's a nice thought. I know Lumi at FaZe Connect. Yes, enjoying the 40k stuff as well. The card terrain is a lot of fun. Thanks for dropping credits on Von Carmian. No, it's alright. I mean, if you can't afford to drop pennies in the tip jar, that is totally fine. Absolutely nothing against you. The kindest thing you can do is, you know, like, comment, and subscribe, and watch the videos. And then when it says, oh, here's another video you might enjoy it, so you can watch that video. So that's really nice. Just you doing that. I don't know if FaZe Connect, do they allow collaborations with men? That's a whole nother thing that's had VTuber drama recently. One of the other groups doesn't do collaboration with men. It's a whole thing. So it's a thought. Will I be getting Space Marine 2, and what's my opinions? Having looked at Space Marine 2, and the person who did a trailer of that is... I mean, they're trying. They seem to be trying. They seem to be very tired when they had a go at doing that. But looking at that, you can hear the engine chugging when it's doing the World War Z engine stuff for the horde of enemies crawling through. So it could be okay. Oh yeah, Pippa did a collab with Nag, so that's okay. That's okay. The real collab we want is with Filian. Yeah, the little gremlin creature. Again, could be fun. It's like, I do introduce 40k to VTubers, as well as introducing VTubers to 40k. So yeah, all of them could work. I also get recommended Lopi, because she also likes D&D, and apparently also does not stop talking. And doesn't breathe in between all the sentences she says. So yes, I have been, of course, speaking for 23 hours worth of words in the last 2 hours. What was I saying? There was a game, something. Space Marine 2. Yeah, so I don't know if my computer will be able to handle it. I have a little bit of an older computer. It chugs a bit. It managed Space Marine 1, okay. It managed, you know, all of these games from a few years ago, like Titanicus Dominus, and as well as when I was able to get it to work, Chaos Gate. So the previous live stream, pretty sure the previous live stream was Chaos Gate and then Dominus. So that was a whole thing in itself working. Otherwise, Space Marine 2, it's a thought. I'll have to work on it, see if it works, and then, yeah, be like, hey, do you want to play this on stream X person? Because you can do it 3-player. Because much like in Space Marine 1, you get 2 other Space Marines going along with you. And in the online version, they are replaced by actual people. So you have the 3 of them. Will I be trying Legions Imperialis when it comes out? The small scale... Oh yeah, it's be easy to travel. Sort of. There's Titans. You can still play the Titans and use the Titans. So the Titans going along... I'd rather fund candles for sisters than dancing lessons for Hololive girls. Well, yes. Yes. The Titans will still work in the Legions Imperialis, so that's good. They're going to probably change the bases, though, which is so annoying. How does Lopi do it? Oh, you just need to get into the habit of not breathing at all. Just talk really fast. It's really easy if you've got a Northeast accent, because the people from Northeast, we just generally speak really fast anyway. I am actually slowing down my speech right now, so I don't know if it sounds a bit slower. I'm trying to get it so that I speak at a speed that international people can recognize and understand and, you know, will be able to keep up with. So that's how you do it. Otherwise, you can just have a million beats per second heart rate. You know, heart that beats the speed of a rabbit or the speed of a mouse. That also works. Yep. Right. What was I saying? Yeah, the Legion Imperial stuff, you can have the Titans. The Titans can work. Titan bases are going to change, which is going to be annoying. That's the bigger models that you then have to transport. So just doing Legions Imperialis where you only field Titans could be quite fun. On the Titanicus Dominus game, some of the missions you get, you can just attack people on the ground. They're kind of fun, and you've got to take out some defense turrets. It's a pretty good mission. I tried using flame cannons. Flamestorm cannons in that are awful because it uses the original Titanicus rules, which is awful. The Space Hulk Deathwing co-op, I've tried it, and it does not work on my computer. It just doesn't load. It just fails and crashes. Same as the Vermintide. Vermintide just does not want to load. So maybe unless it was going to be like, there we go. The next Ko-fi goal is £1,000, £2,000 for a decently working computer. I don't want to ask for that much money. That's not going to happen. Then yeah, I can't really do all of these particular games. So I've just got to fix on the old games like Chaos Gate, Titanicus Dominus. Or, you know, I'll just keep talking about the actual 40k games with the miniatures because I can get pictures of them, and Games Workshop's like, yeah, you can advertise our stuff. We don't care. Keep advertising us. So I'll just keep doing it that way. Next question. Oh yeah, terrain pieces. So I really recommend the Infinity Terrain. That's a good one. I'll get a video on that at some point doing that. Do I like the Death Cult Assassins or the Crusaders? Who's got the better model? Well, my Death Cult Assassins, as I say, are Kit Bash from the Neophytes. Then I use the assassin that came with the Kill Team first edition name, Rogue Trader, the Kill Team Rogue Trader. So I used that. Yeah, that worked. If you want the Crusaders, again, I would proxy them. I think proxying them is probably going to be the best way to do it. And use you know, Sigmar models. That could be good. I've seen quite a few nice pictures of people using Celestian Sacrosancts, which are not doing so great at the moment, and then using the Sacrosancts as Crusaders. That's not a bad idea. So who has the better models? They're both not amazing metal models. I think the Death Cult Assassins look better as they stand. Either way, not really bothered. What about Bolt Gun? Maybe Bolt Gun. The problem I have with Bolt Gun is I enjoyed Doom like 2016. That's okay. But then I wasn't so... I like Doom 2016. But the Bolt Gun, I don't like how they've overdone the sprites. It's a bit too much, like everything rotating, and I've seen a little bit of it, and the first thing is you drop pod and then everyone's dead except you, which just sounds so weird. So weird. The Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, yeah, a lot of the problem is VTubing requires a lot of stuff to be working already. Streaming, then, on top of that, requires a lot of things to be working already. So you got a lot of electronic stuff working. It's a whole circus in itself. Not all of the stuff that should be working is actually working, but I'm covering it up and patching it and, you know, doing proxy stuff so it does work quite nicely. Then you're adding a game on top of that, and if it's a new modern game, that's a lot of stress on the system. So that's where more crashes come in, and that's why you see VTubers generally with a lot of scuff. It comes with the uniform. Have I tried retro games like the 90s Space Hulk PC game and the Space Crusade game? I saw them. They're just really not amazing versions of what is now like XCOM. And if you want XCOM, then I do like Chaos Gate. The only problem with Chaos Gate is after mission 1, you get far too many people that you need to track and move and change and stuff. So it's like XCOM where 4 characters, really easy to carry on. As soon as you have 10 characters, then adding heroes on top of that, like chaplains, apothecaries, and models like that, then there's too many things to keep track of. Yeah, would I stream a game of 40k similar? Not really. I mean, as soon as you're adding in, I might do like not a recorded like 40k in 40 minutes kind of thing, but I could do, here's a bunch of pictures, I can narrate a game as we're going through, as long as I have some tactical advice for it. Otherwise it's, hey, do you want to watch me talk about a game I played for 10 minutes? Maybe you do, but maybe not a lot of people do, and at that point I put a lot of effort into a video that then doesn't do very well, and I could have just done one of the many, many other videos that needs to get done that I have on my list to be done. Any advice on how to choose a color scheme for sisters that's not one of the standard ones? I mean, I would pick white or black as a very easy thing. I've seen someone do a very nice jade color. You can pick literally any army from history, any Imperial Guard regiment, any Space Marine chapter, and just do a Battle Sister version of that. So Space Marines and Imperial Guard are a very good place to look to Daffodil to then pick the color schemes from them. Yeah, the EN curse is... It's just VTubers. It just happens. I mean, today my jaw hasn't dislodged. I haven't started flickering suddenly. So that's all an improvement. The Emperor protects as best they can from scuff. Thank you very much, Sorrow Scale. I know you're here every stream, or every stream you can be here, and you say the same thing, and I love it. Oh, okay. Nurgle filth. Yeah. Oh, except yellow. Yeah. Yellow as a color. Again, as I said in 10.5. That video on 10.5 things to know before you start 40k. It's not a great color. There were quite a few very nice recommendations that you could get that were appeared in the comments of that. So you can look to them for some good yellows. What sisters of G-Steel Occult models am I most proud of? I like the G-Steel Occult Nexus. I wish he wasn't an old man. I don't know why they needed to make it that part of the lore that as soon as you got all that inside your brain, then suddenly you become old. The new Patriarch model is pretty good. It has the height while also looking kind of stealthy. And when you look at it from the side, it is a Genesteal Occult symbol. So that's kind of clever. I like that. The Aberrants, I mean, they're okay. They're too monopose looking. I picked up a Freesaurus recently. It wasn't the model of the month. It was just a bit before that. So I'm making an Aberrant out of that, which should look kind of cool. If I remember, and then I'll stick a picture of it on my community and just be like, here's a kit bash thing. Trying to think of other cool things. The dirt bikes are quite nice. The Jackal Alphas is a very nice model. I recommend that model. It's a cool model. It looks part of the lore. It fits. It's cool. If they had Medea, Sisters of Battle, or Genesteal Occult game, do you prefer it to something like Mechanicus? Oh, or Fire Warrior. Fire Warrior is a fun game. I quite liked Fire Warrior. As soon as I killed my first Chaos Space Marine, I picked up their bolt gun and I kept it for the rest of the game. That was fun. The trench stuff at the start was really good, so doing something like that for Space Marine, I like it. Seeing a Chimera drive over the top, yeah, it all works. I got killed the first time I played it by that Commissar officer that's hiding in a bunker and just rushes at you swinging a chainsaw and going, death to the Xenos, death to the Xenos. I was not expecting that after I was just seeing a load of little dudes in like blue or red khaki just firing las guns ineffectively at me. I have played some Mechanicus. I really liked it. I need to get back into it. It's fun. It's fun. Favorite Imperial Guard regiment? Oh, does it have to be mainline? Because it's Praetorians. If you couldn't tell from the way I had a Zulu clip in my last video, it's Praetorians. So, all of them are quite nice. I'm not a fan of the Steel Legion. It's mechanized. It's all right. Death Corps, they're okay. They're taking the whole World War I aesthetic and then let's just keep going with, oh, what if it was World War I, but the people in World War I wanted to be there? Yeah, see, everyone picks the unusual ones, the Tanith First and Only, the Elysians. Put some more, your favourite ones. What about the Vostrians? They're pretty cool, with their big hats and unusual recruitment mechanic. Mordians, I mean, I like the theme, which is why the Praetorians, and then you just have the head swap. Valhallans are pretty good. I don't know how it quite works with we're the last of our peoples, we're underground, and now we're also going to do horde tactics. Bit weird. The Praetorians did technically have models, so they're considered mainline. Wonderful, wonderful. Harakoni Warhawks, Talon. Now, Talon is an interesting one. People see Talon and they're like, oh, this is meant to be like a Middle Eastern army. Which it sort of is, but actually, they're based on... Oh, what's his name? Lawrence of Arabia. They're based on Lawrence of Arabia and him going with like some British volunteers and getting the local Arab forces and beating the Turks and doing massive kilometer-wide, hundreds of miles outflanking maneuvers that way. So that's why the Talon are all about outflanking, because they're based on Lawrence of Arabia from World War I. That is why. Yeah. Right. What do you think makes armies fun to play against? Oh, so that would be... They're really fun to play against if they really fit their lore. If you can look at the lore and background and see, yep, this plays exactly right. That's some of the problem with Space Marines. They can seem very not equivalent to lore. Very tough in the lore, superhuman in the lore. You get them on the tabletop and it's like, oh yeah, this guy is a few more points than this other model. And it doesn't seem quite right. And you're killing like dozens of them each time. So Space Marines not so much amazing, but I think anything that's quite like the lore. Genestealer Occult are really fun for that reason. The lore matches the playstyle. Very good. Depends on how you play your Genestealer Occult, because you can do Monster Menagerie, you can do all bikes, something like that. You can do all of the Brood Brothers, like I've said. Hive Cult. Yeah, so anything... Battle Sisters that play to the lore is good, which is why I want a better thing than Miracle Dice. Having to roll some random dice and be like, oh, maybe the God Emperor's with you, maybe it's not. Which is why the best tournament things right now are doing... They're just ignoring Miracle Dice. Same thing happened at the end of 9th edition. Just ignore the Miracle Dice, go for doing pure damage. Miracle Dice are there occasionally as a one-off. That's what I found from the start of 10th edition. So when I was saying right at the start of 10th edition, oh, you want some units to generate Miracle Dice and do this, we have enough Miracle Dice just from Battle Sisters and dying by accident, being on objectives. Sometimes you get a Miracle Dice from killing something with a Simulacrum. Then we have enough Miracle Dice for that. Don't focus your army around generating and using Miracle Dice. But anything that plays to its faction lore is really fun. You could have a 3D printed Feudal Guard. Oh, the 3D printed Feudal Guard. Blah. They are very fun. If lore is matching gameplay, what's the opinion on Custodes? Custodes, I think, once they said, yes, we're going to actually leave the Golden Throne and help out, then, yeah, it kind of matched the lore for them. They are superhuman, incredibly tough. I think it's about right for Custodes. I just don't like playing against them because it takes so much effort to kill an infantry guy. And it's like a slog. And you have to immediately go with, okay, I'm going to win on objectives and victory points. Which can be an idea if you're already planning to play that way. If not, it's kind of awkward. David Miller, I helped you a ton with Battle Sisters and you got your first win. Well done on your first win. I'd love to see your army list. You could put it in the Discord. That has an army list section. If you are on Discord and would like to join the Discord, anyone can do so. Linked in the description. Just under the Ko-Fi tip money button, I think it should be there. It's not actually there. The Discord link is not there. Oh no, it is there. It is there. It's right at the bottom. Very last one. Underneath the subscribe button. Yes. What would I adjust in terms of core rules or faction rules? Okay. Ooh. Well, I would like line of sight to be more specific. So that it has like drawing a millimeter long line, something like that, to most of the model. that maybe would work better. I think getting rid of the whole every model in the unit has the same keywords as every other model in the unit when you attach a character to it, and instead you could be doing wound rolls for precision. You choose your target after the hit roll, so anything like anti only affects that one particular model, so I could change precision like that. Otherwise, I'm rather happy with the way they've turned out. They're pretty simple. Fly rules. The whole different things that come up with the fly rules. I think it's so much easier just to say, yeah, you can fly up infinite height and down infinite height. I don't think you're losing or gaining that much by changing the rule, but having 2 extra pages in the rules commentary just to explain moving up diagonally, then if you've got different heights for the different models that have moved diagonally, here's how to figure that out and do it that way. Yeah. What about using silhouettes like Infinity? I'd be okay with that. I think that's okay. The way Infinity works, for people that don't know, every model has like a size. So I think they did it in 5th edition for 40k. Different terrain had different sizes. It was level 1, 2, or 3. 1 was like barricades, 2 was buildings, 3 was like so tall, essentially to the sky, can't shoot over it or through it. Holding up a little token and being like, yeah, you can draw a line between the two wouldn't be too bad. It would also mean that if people have like older metal sister models, you could say, okay, this is the sister size correct for measuring it like that. Then it doesn't matter what silhouette and what things you got for them. So that could work. I like that idea. And what do I think about shooting at vehicle antennas and wingtips? Is that fair? So that's another line of sight thing. I don't do that unless my opponent has made a point that they're deliberately showing only the tip or something like that of a edge of a track, something like that, and then they shoot out of that and therefore can be shot back. Otherwise, I don't shoot at them. I might ask, hey, is that model like meant to be hidden from then? If they say yes, then they just like scoot it back a little bit, and we both know that in their next turn, it'll have to move to get line of sight. Of course, it will get cover however you do it, but that's generally how I do it. More of a, let's be very generous on that. Follow-on question. Is Dr. Krankenfoof real, and will you collab with him, or do you really not like him? This is a character that I mentioned in the 6 Types of Gamer video that came out on Friday. Now, either I made a whole new VTuber model and posed it to take some fake thumbnails, all for the purpose of making some jokes that last a couple of seconds, which is a lot of effort to put in, or he's definitely real and disagrees with me on absolutely everything. I wonder which one it could be. I really do. His latest video, which was called To a Mirror Sheen, about putting shields on all of his Grey Knight models so that they are, well, they're literally just little mirrors. And then he could exploit the very badly worded line of sight rules, which is stupid, yet ingenious, but it means that all of his Grey Knights have line of sight to like all of the enemy army through the use of mirrors that are on other models. Technically it's rules as written, just not rules as intended, and that's why I hate it. It continues to kick rules as intended straight in the face. Oh my. So will I collab with him? If I can find a reason to collab, and you know, I can find someone with the right software who I can loan the model to, who can do a voice for Dr. Krankenfoof, then maybe. That's a maybe. I'm so glad that's a question. That's a wonderful question. You made me search for it. Oh dear, and I would be very surprised if anything came up. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. Okay, just a couple of questions left, and then we will say, I don't know, well, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. We're almost there. What is your favorite vampire franchise? So that's, I really got to go with Hellsing Abridged. We'll stick with Hellsing Abridged. That's a really good film, not film series, abridged series about vampires. The Vampire Alucard. It was done by, I'm pretty sure it was Takahata, who was the same person who had a hand in the text-to-speech 40k stuff. So really good comedy if you like that. Hellsing Abridged. very good thing about vampires. A lot of fun. And what are my thoughts on Blade? Now, Blade is fashionably late. If you think of the very first appearance in the very first Blade film, people were getting murdered. There's blood coming out of the sprinklers. Everyone's getting, you know, covered in blood for that. And then Blade comes in and there's not a single drop on him. He is totally fine. And at that point, you very obviously, as Blade, have waited outside until the sprinklers are turned off and then you've gone in to do something. So he is fashionably late with a hard emphasis on the fashion. And then he seems to be, you know, he's generally fine as far as the vampire community is concerned. He appeared in What We Do in the Shadows, which is it's not British. No, it was just shown on the BBC. It's set in America. It might be British. But yeah, it's set in America. In Staten Island, which is part of the United States, in New York area, I think. And they had Blade appear on that. And it was like, oh, hey, there's Blade. And he's like, yeah, as long as you're cool with me, you know, killing people, then there's no problem here. You know, I'm not going to keep doing that. I'll join the Vampire Council. Yes. And you can join my Vampire Council. There's a link in the comments to join the channel, and you can subscribe there. There's the join button just under the stream itself, right next to my name. So you can join there, pay a tiny amount of money, and you get stickers and little emotes and things like that. And if you pay the slightly more money, then you may have noticed that Zerota gets their name in the end credits. If you would like your name in the end credits, assuming I'm going to like blow up and be super important, then people will be able to see that when I was relatively small at 2,500, I mean that's still quite a lot of people that have subscribed, then you can be like, yes, I was supporting him from the OG. Daywalker. Yes, Daywalker. The rest of us just have to use parasols. That's how it works. And again, there's the Ko-fi thing, so you can sign up permanently and get lots of perks on that. And if you want, you can just sign up to I think it's the lowest tier, and then it's £2 a month, and you can join the Discord and have fun there, as can anyone. And it's a little bit of like ticking money that's like, I am happy to support everyone, to support me, to help everyone with Battle Sisters and Gene Stealer Cult and all the rest of it. It's 2 a.m. for you. You can go to bed. Okay. I definitely think I should do it as a wrap up. Yes. Yes. Hi, everyone. We've got some hellos. We've got some goodbyes. Okay. It is getting later in the day. So I have run out of the questions that I can enthusiastically answer at the moment. Have been going for 2 hours, which I think is long enough for a stream. Do I have the original Metal Ethereal Stern figure? Ooh, I don't. I also don't have the new plastic ones. I do have a proxy version, which can also fit as Celestine if needs be. Got a flamethrower, which I use the combi flamer thing, so I'll explain that at some other time. I do indeed hope everyone has a very good day, whether it's a good sleep, a good work day, a good bank holiday, a good European in the heat day. I do hope that you have a great time. I rarely find it hard to start painting models. I sometimes just get on with it. What I tend to do is put a YouTuber in the background, and then I paint while doing that. Really good background TV. Yes. So you're all welcome for the videos. Thank you for the thanks. Thank you for the monies that people have dropped today. That is so very kind. Have a good night. Have a good day, my darlings and viewers. I will see you in the next video. Why isn't the stream ending? Bye bye.